Picture this, she's lying beside you. The room wrapped in that faint, deceptive stillness that only exists before something dies. Her head rests on your chest. Her fingers trace slow, absent patterns on your skin. And you believe, without question, that this moment means something. That love, once spoken, cannot be undone. But there's a quiet distance in her touch now. Something microscopic, imperceptible, but real. Like a shadow moving behind her eyes. You tell yourself you're imagining it. That people don't fall out of love overnight. But they do. They fall in silence, in fragments, while still whispering they love you. They fall while smiling, while saying I'm fine, while planning the cleanest way to disappear. And by the time you notice, she's already halfway gone. Because when she pretends to love you, she doesn't do it out of cruelty. She does it out of fear. Fear of confrontation. Fear of guilt. Fear of what she might become in your eyes if she admits the truth too soon. So she performs. She says the words, but without the weight. She kisses you, but without the pull. She stays, but she's already mapping the exit. And you, blindly loyal to the memory of who she used to be, keep mistaking her detachment for exhaustion, her quiet for peace, her fading for devotion. You think love is supposed to survive confusion, that silence can be a form of comfort, that a tired heart can still be honest. But it can't, because love, when it dies, doesn't announce itself. It hides behind routine, politeness, and the small gestures that used to mean everything. She'll still text you good morning. She'll still laugh at your jokes. She'll still promise plans for a future she's already erased in her mind. That's the cruelest part. You'll never know the exact moment she decided to leave. You'll never remember the night she stopped looking at you and started looking through you. It'll happen quietly, like the slow dimming of a light bulb that once illuminated your whole world. And one morning, when she finally walks away, you'll realize she didn't leave then. She left long before. You were just too in love to see it. You convince yourself it's just a phase. That love doesn't vanish, it drifts, it bruises, it hides beneath the weight of life. You start collecting explanations the way a drowning man collects air. She's tired, you think. She's distracted. Work has been heavy. Her silence isn't distance, it's peace. You tell yourself this because you need to. Because the truth, that she no longer feels what you feel, is unbearable. So you build an illusion and live inside it. You replay old memories like sacred scripture. Proof that what once existed must still live somewhere beneath her indifference. You look at her and see ghosts of the woman who used to run to you, who used to light up when your name appeared on her screen. You see her, but only through the lens of who she used to be. It's easier that way. It's easier to believe she's just lost. That love is just hiding under the rubble of routine. You start performing too, unconsciously mirroring her. You become gentle, patient, overly forgiving. You tell yourself you're saving something that can be saved. But love isn't a patient waiting to be healed. It's a mirror. And every time you look at her, the reflection changes. You start noticing how her laughter no longer reaches her eyes, how her body stiffens when you touch her, how her voice lowers when you ask if everything's okay. But you don't press. You don't want to corner her truth, because deep down, you already know it. You just can't live with it yet. So you keep pretending together. Two actors clinging to a dying play, reciting the same lines until they lose all meaning. She loves you, you tell yourself. She just forgot how to show it. And she tells herself she still loves you, because she doesn't know how to leave without breaking the part of you that still believes in her. So you both stay suspended in that fragile illusion, the one where love can be revived by proximity, where holding on means hope, not denial. It's a quiet tragedy, really, because in your heart, you already feel the ending pulsing beneath every touch, every forced smile, every hollow kiss. You feel it, but you call it love anyway. It starts small. It always does. A delayed response, a shift in tone, the way her eyes wander when you speak, the way her laughter feels rehearsed. You start noticing the pauses, the unnatural ones that used to be filled with warmth, but now echo with absence. She's there, but she's not really there. The light that once pulled you in now flickers faintly, cold and distant. You try to ignore it, to smooth over the cracks with gestures, with effort, with love. But love cannot fix what has already chosen to leave. The truth is, she's already building her world without you inside it. You can sense it in her calm, the kind of calm that comes from having already decided. You ask where she's been, and she tells you stories that sound too clean, too polished. She talks about plans that don't include your name. She laughs at things you don't understand anymore. You feel it in your bones, the slow unraveling of something sacred. You begin to realize that love doesn't end in fire. It ends in distance. Not with screams, but with the sound of nothing. You start reaching for her more often, trying to close the gap with touch, with reassurance. But every attempt only makes her flinch inward. She begins to avoid your eyes, because in them she sees what she's destroying. And still she smiles. That polite, tired smile that feels like mercy. You begin to remember what it was like before the silence, when her voice carried warmth instead of caution, when her touch was instinct, not obligation. You replay those moments until they no longer feel real, until they start to feel like someone else's story. You realize the woman lying beside you now is not the same one who once promised forever. She looks the same, but something essential is gone, something you can't name, only feel. The cracks widen, slowly at first, then all at once. One day she stops asking about your day. One day you stop reaching for her hand. The air grows heavy with unspoken truths. You start hearing the echo of goodbye in her silence. It's faint, almost tender, but it's there. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Because love, when it starts to die, doesn't beg or fight, it withdraws. It fades quietly, like light at the edge of night. There comes a night when you finally feel it break. Not in one clean moment, but in a slow, crushing silence that settles over everything. You're sitting beside her, maybe in the car, maybe at home, maybe somewhere that used to mean something, and you realize the distance between you isn't measured in inches. It's measured in emotion. She's right there, and yet she's unreachable. You say her name, softly, hoping the sound of it might bring her back. But it doesn't. She turns to you with a tenderness that isn't love anymore, just pity. And in that instant you understand it's over. You've been fighting for something that no longer exists. You search her eyes for any sign of the woman you knew, but all you find is calm. The kind of calm that comes after chaos, after a decision has already been made. You want to ask her why, but you already know. Love has no clean explanations. It decays quietly, like fruit left too long in the sun. You want to scream, to shake her, to remind her of the nights she swore she'd never leave. But she's too far gone for words to reach her. So instead you fall into the only thing left, acceptance wrapped in disbelief. The realization that love can die even when you're still holding it. You start seeing the truth in every small detail. The way she avoids your touch, the way she laughs without warmth, the way she moves around you like a guest in a place she no longer belongs. And you feel powerless, watching the foundation crack beneath the weight of something you can't repair. You remember every moment you tried to hold it together, the dinners, the gifts, the late-night talks, and how none of it mattered in the end. Because once the heart decides to go, the body just follows. You begin to feel the hollowness that she's been living with for weeks. You start to see what she saw, how love becomes a burden when it stops being mutual. It's not that she wants to hurt you. It's that she can't keep pretending. The performance collapses. The illusion burns out. And all that's left is the echo of what was once real. You realize she didn't steal your peace. She just stopped being the person you built your peace around. And that's when it breaks. Not her leaving, not the goodbye, but the silence before it. When you finally understand you can't make someone stay who's already gone. After she's gone, the world doesn't explode. It just empties. The silence is unbearable at first, like a constant ringing in your mind, reminding you that love once lived here. Every object in the room becomes a ghost, her coffee mug, her perfume lingering on the pillow, the small traces of her left behind like evidence of a crime that was never confessed. You walk through your own home as if trespassing in someone else's life. You tell yourself you'll be fine, but the words sound hollow, like an actor reciting lines from a script that no longer makes sense. The truth hits you in fragments, not in a single blow. You start remembering all the signs you ignored, the moments she turned away, the laughter that no longer carried warmth, the subtle exhaustion in her eyes when you reached for her hand. You begin to understand that love doesn't die suddenly. It erodes quietly under the weight of denial. You realize that what you mistook for love in the end was only habit, the comfort of familiarity wrapped around emptiness. But the mind doesn't let go as easily as the body. It replays everything, searching for the moment it all began to fade. You start rewriting history in your head, wondering what you could have done differently, what words could have stopped her from slipping away. But deep down, you know there's nothing you could have done, because you can't bargain with someone's heart once it's chosen freedom over belonging. So you grieve, not just her, but the version of yourself that existed when she still loved you. You grieve the man who believed in forever, the man who thought love could survive anything as long as he tried hard enough. That man dies quietly inside you, and in his place grows something darker, heavier awareness. You see how easily people lie with kindness, how easily they stay long after the love is gone, how they smile while already planning their escape. It changes you. You start to distrust warmth, question sincerity, analyze every small gesture as if it were a code. You begin to understand the cost of love, not heartbreak, but transformation. Because once you've been left by someone who pretended to stay, you never see affection the same way again. You start realizing that love, real love, can't coexist with fear or pity, and that sometimes the kindest thing someone can do is leave before they forget how to love you completely. When she leaves, the world keeps spinning as if nothing happened, but your perception of it doesn't. People still talk, laugh, fall in love, as though love were safe. You begin to see couples everywhere, smiling in restaurants, holding hands on sidewalks, their affection shining with the same naive certainty you once had. And for a moment, you envy them. The way they still believe love is unbreakable. The way they don't see the cracks waiting beneath the surface. Friends will ask what happened. They'll speak softly, like your pain might shatter if handled too roughly. Some will blame her. Some will blame you. No one will truly understand that there's no villain in a quiet ending. Just two people who stop being the same person at the same time. You'll catch glimpses of her life online, a filtered version of her new world. You'll see her smiling, radiant, almost unfamiliar. You'll tell yourself she's pretending too, that she must miss you somewhere deep down, but you'll know it's not true, because the one who leaves doesn't suffer the same way. They grieve before they go. They process their goodbye while still lying next to you. You're just catching up to a pain she's already survived. And yet, society won't see that. They'll see only the aftermath, not the process. The man left behind, quiet and broken, trying to make sense of how love could vanish without warning. People will tell you to move on, to heal, to find someone else. But they don't see the invisible damage. The way you flinch when someone says, "I love you." The way you analyze every silence. The way you no longer believe in permanence. You start wearing masks of your own. You smile at work. You laugh with friends. You pretend you're fine because the world doesn't have time for your collapse. You become a mirror to society's lie. That love, once found, is supposed to last. And when you finally do meet someone new, you'll feel that instinct to protect yourself, to hold back. You'll want to love again, but carefully, quietly, as if too much truth might scare it away. Because in a world where people pretend to love before they leave, vulnerability feels dangerous. The social mirror reflects only survival, not sincerity. And so you adapt, just like she did. You learn to hide what hurts, to smile like you never bled, to walk among people as if your heart were still whole. At first, you think you're just missing her, but then the days stretch out, and you realize what you truly miss is the version of yourself that existed when she loved you. The man who felt chosen, seen, understood. You begin to understand how love can build an identity, how someone else's gaze can become a mirror that tells you who you are. And when that mirror shatters, you're left staring at a stranger. You wake up and the air feels unfamiliar. The silence in your home is heavy, almost sentient. You catch yourself still checking your phone out of habit, still thinking in we, still turning to share something only to find no one there. You begin to see how much of yourself was built around her presence, your routines, your sense of worth, your peace. When she left, she didn't just take herself. She took the version of you that only existed through her love. And now, you're left with fragments. You try to rebuild, but everything feels artificial. You start dressing differently, talking differently, convincing yourself that change means progress. But deep down, you know you're just trying to escape the echo of who you used to be. You start to question every choice, every belief, every moment that led you here. You begin to wonder if love made you softer or weaker, if vulnerability was a mistake. The people around you still see you as whole, but inside you feel unrecognizable. You realize that heartbreak isn't just losing someone, it's losing the reflection of yourself that existed in their eyes. You wander through days without anchor, haunted not by memories of her, but by the absence of the person you were when she still called you hers. And it hits you, the cruel paradox, that love, the thing that once made you feel infinite, can also erase you. You start to see that identity built on affection is fragile. It collapses when the affection does. You stand in front of a mirror and stare, searching for the man beneath the ruin. You wonder if he ever truly existed, or if he was just a character written by her desire. You realize how easy it is to lose yourself in the comfort of being loved, and how hard it is to find yourself once that comfort disappears. In the end, you're left with silence and the question that burns quietly at the edges of your mind. Who are you now that she no longer loves you? Eventually, the noise fades. The ache softens. You stop looking for her in strangers. Stop searching for the echo of her name in the quiet. You learn that closure isn't a conversation, it's an evolution. One day, without realizing it, you breathe and it doesn't hurt. The memories still exist, but they no longer own you. You begin to see love for what it is, not a promise, not a guarantee, but a momentary alignment of two souls that meet, learn, and then drift apart when the lesson is done. You understand that people don't always leave out of malice. Sometimes they leave because the version of you they loved no longer exists, or because the version of themselves that could love you has died. You stop romanticizing permanence. You start respecting impermanence instead. The truth is haunting but pure. Love was never meant to stay. It was meant to reveal. It showed you what it means to be vulnerable, what it costs to open your heart fully, what it takes to survive being left empty. And in that revelation, you become something new. You begin to realize that she didn't destroy you. She unmasked you. She stripped away the illusions, the need to be validated, the belief that love must be returned to be real. Because even when she pretended, your love was true. And that truth belongs to you, not her. You see now that love is not possession. It's presence. It's giving without expectation, feeling without control. You understand that loss is not punishment, it's purification. It burns away the fragile parts of you that depended on someone else to feel whole. What remains is quieter, but stronger. You stop asking why she left, and start asking why you stayed after she did. You learn to love yourself in the spaces where her absence once lived. And one day, you look back, not with pain, not with longing, but with gratitude, because she taught you the hardest lesson of all, that sometimes being unloved is the beginning of finally loving yourself. The story ends not with her leaving, but with you waking, with the realization that she didn't take your heart. She freed it. That love, even when it breaks you, still leaves behind something sacred, understanding. And in that quiet understanding, you finally see the truth. No one truly leaves. They just stop belonging to the version of you that no longer exists.